What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Today, we will be doing a What's Next on Hawkeye, the series on Disney+.
And we'd like to thank our sponsor, Sprite, for letting us record in this wonderful Sprite-nasium of a studio.
Why don't you set that down?
So let's start with Echo. If you saw our In Focus on Echo, you would know they've changed her backstory a little bit. Instead of the Kingpin killing her dad and blaming Daredevil, to her, he was actually killed by Ronin. Now, there's two things about this. We don't know who was in the Ronin suit when he was killed. I still don't think it was Hawkeye or Clint Barton when that happened, but I think he's definitely going to be blamed for it.
Of course.
And two, at first I was a little hesitant. I was like, oh man, why did they do that? But I was thinking about it this way. If a villain like Echo is going to have a redemption arc, it is going to mean a lot more if the villain didn't kill her dad. But she has to figure out and come to terms with, my dad might not have been the best person. This guy may have killed him. But you know what? That was probably the right thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they don't get to that moment and she's going to kill him and he just says, Martha.
Why did you say that name?
Well, if her dad's...
Was her dad's name Martha?
Yeah, I think it was Bethel or Martha.
Wait, hold on. Who wrote this episode?
Oh, this is what Snyder...
Zack Snyder!
No, he wrote next episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he wanted to set this one up.
Right. Mm. So, if they do keep her dad's backstory the same as it was in the comics, then yeah, he probably will be a villain, probably working for the Kingpin, or in some other sort of gang or something like that. The Tracksuit Mafia did allude to the fact that he led them at one point, I think. So...
You know, and we do see at the place where Ronin did kill her father, it was Fat Guy Tire Company. So, I'm going to say it right here. If we do not see Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin in Hawkeye, I'm going to shave my head. You know, I know that doesn't say much because I barely got any hair, but I'll do it on camera if he does not show up in the series.
You know what? I think... Go ahead.
Should I shave my head too?
Yes.
Should we all be bald?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll shave my head too.
Okay, all right. You heard it here. If Vincent D'Onofrio is not the Kingpin and does not show up in this series, Keith and I are going to shave our heads.
That's the day after Christmas we're doing that, right?
Yeah. Our what's next for after Hawkeye
what's next is our heads are going to be...
Our heads are going to be bald. It's going to be cold.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
That's true.
That is true.
That's a good point.
And I think we already have seen Vincent D'Onofrio in the show. I think that was his hand.
I'm pretty sure.
Was it me, or did that sound like his voice?
It did.
It did sound like his voice, too.
I kept thinking, I watched it a few times and I'm like, okay, am I hearing it as Vincent D'Onofrio because I want it to be him so bad? Because if they pull some switcheroo and Kate's dad is Maya's uncle, I'm going to lose my shit. I really am.
I mean, her story is so tied to the Kingpin, the fact that the Kingpin raised her in the comics. They already did change quite a bit about her character. I think it would be a little weird to change that fact, too.
Good, I'm glad we're in agreement.
You know, and in the comics, Kate's mom dies and her dad lives. So
yeah.
Her mom was alive all those years. She came back in, I think, Kelly Thompson's run of West Coast Avengers.
Well, she was dead to Kate.
she came back as a vampire. Blade tie.
Blade will be, yep, you heard it here first, folks. Blade is going to be in Hawkeye.
That's why the Black Knight was in the Eternals.
It's all coming together.
Don't you get it? Oh, man.
Okay, right. We need to put our yarn on the wall. The wall with all of our theories.
Yeah, with the string over here.
Yes.
And then, well, not finally, but we do have to talk about the cliffhanger where Jack is holding the Ronin sword to Clint Barton's neck. Now, I'm going back and forth on two things with him right now.
Okay.
One, he's just a red herring. They knew everyone would jump on that name and be like, Swordsman! Swordsman! He's going to do this. Mm-hmm. And then I think he is with Kate's mom for ulterior motives. We had that scene in episode 1 where Armand was talking to Kate's mom, kind of threatening her, and he says, I know what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is something he saw Kate's dad? Is it something where they are aligned with the Kingpin and Kate's mom is moving towards Madame Mask and working for her? Because there's probably going to be a power struggle in this city within the crime, syndicates there. But then I thought, wait, Kate's mom isn't working for Madame Mask. I think Armand was.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is, Madame Mask in the comics, especially in the Kate Bishop Hawkeye series, she's doing a lot with clones. And she wants to clone the Bishops because there's a chance they can get superpowers when they're cloned. And what does Armand say to Kate when Armand III rolls up? He's like, there's so many Armands. I think that was a hint
That he's a clone.
that Armand III is a clone of Armand, and he is actually working for Madame Mask. And what's pitting Kate's mom and Armand against each other is she's kind of working for the Kingpin, and he's working for Madame Mask. And we're about to have this confrontation between these two groups happen at some point, whether during Hawkeye or Echo, I'm not sure.
That's some deep thoughts.
And now, Deep Thoughts by Jack.
So, Dave, could I get you just to reel it in real quick?
I don't know.
All right, well then I will. I'm just gonna
Doug's
reel in
gonna
just a little
grab my
bit.
reel. He's gonna grab it and
All
he's
right.
gonna pull it in.
So I'm gonna ground it a little bit because I don't think it's anything that elaborate. I'm thinking that Jack probably is going to be subject to be a villain. Disney owns Marvel, and you know how they feel about step parents.
That's true.
So, but no, the way that he acts, he just comes off as your standard run-of-the-mill TV show villain, and I don't think this is any sort of twist. I don't think they're going to pull the rug out from under us and, oh, he was good all along or anything like that. I have a feeling he is probably maybe funneling money through the security company or something like that. It's probably some dumb little crime that you would find just in any other thing. I don't think this is any elaborate, like, Marvel.
I think it's a
superhero.
street level
Absolutely.
crime,
I think this
like a
is because-
Defenders type
See,
of crime.
Yes, because if they're going to introduce a criminal like the Kingpin, I don't think they're going to one-up it with anything major and like clones and superheroes, and they seem to really be keeping everything very grounded, very human.
Okay, they're not clones, they're Skrulls.
Sure, they're Skrulls. Why not?
See, and I thought that too. They're not going to do it, but I think they could be building up to it. I think we may get our first hint
Okay.
that Madame Mask exists, and she's cloning people trying to do that superhero project. But the last thing, what I think could happen with the Swordsman at the end of this series, if he hasn't already been, he's going to be recruited by Val.
Okay, now that I could see happening.
Because
That would be really cool too.
if he's not already working for her, being with Kate Bishop to get a little more intel on what's going on in the city at the ground level, he will be recruited by the end of this. Because I think he's going to show his skills at some point in the city, whether it's with, Clint and Kate to help save them and kind of turn them back, or against them. We're going to see his power, and Val knows all and sees all, and she's going to come a call in to get his talents.
Well, now, her name is Val, but don't call her Val. Just keep that in your head.
Well, I didn't call her Val, I just referred to her as Val.
Okay.
I hope that's okay, Val.
It's Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. It's hard, but I don't like to repeat myself.
Oh shit, I just called her Val.
I kind of like your theory.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, he's going to be a bigger villain than we thought. You mentioned at the end there how he had his blade to the neck. And I was discussing this earlier. I think that he didn't sneak up on Clint. Clint had to know he was there. He's still an Avenger, earpiece or not. He had to know that was going to happen just to figure out who was sneaking up on it.
Well, and he was also in Kate's house, Kate's
Yeah.
mom's house. So he's not going to desire. He's the one who's intruding, basically. So he knows he's got to play it cool. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
He wasn't surprised by that at all. Heard somebody there.
Yeah.
I think he will be surprised by the fact that it's Ronan's sword that's put to his throat. Because we are, this series has been focusing a lot on Clint's past and catching up to him.
Now, do you think that he's going to get out of it by maybe he knows about like a switch on the hilt or something to retract the blade?
No, I think it's just going to be as much as him going, "What are you doing in my house?" He'll be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm with Kate."
But he's going to know that he's Clint Barton. He's going
Yes.
to know he's
Yeah.
Hawkeye.
So that's the main difference between the MCU and your Marvel comics is superheroes, save for Spider-Man, well, not anymore, but superheroes don't have secret identities in these movies.
And one last point from me on all of this. I was rewatching Black Widow the other night. Yes, I think I'm the only one in this group who really enjoys that movie. But
Yes.
in the post-credit scene, when the aforementioned Val was talking to Yelena, she shows her a picture of Clint Barton in the Ronin costume. She knows Clint Barton is Ronin, which means Yelena now knows Clint Barton is Ronin. That information is coming out. His past is going to catch up with him even more in this, and it's going to be brought down by Yelena. And that is going to probably set Maya off, which is going to bring her redemption arc by forgiving, Hawkeye or whoever was in the Ronin suit, and finding out that her uncle, the Kingpin of Crime, is the true villain. And whether that happens in Hawkeye or we see it continued in Echo, either way, I know Marvel likes to slow burn these things. I think it's going to be worth the time, and I like where they're going with all of this. I think out of all of the MCU Disney shows,
this one is.
this is being my favorite. I loved Loki the most leading into this, but this one has just been so incredibly well done. So grounding of the characters and bringing world building. They're doing such a great job of continuing to tie things into the MCU that happened before and bridging that. Opening it up so much that we're going to have so much going on soon, it's going to be nuts.
I really feel the same. I really feel that they're getting better as they go, but this is definitely the best series so far.
Oh, I agree.
I read today that Kate Bishop is going to be in Quantumania. Now, I don't know.
I don't think that's been confirmed, but that would be interesting.
I should have the article when I mention stuff like that.
The Ant-Man arrow. That was the Easter egg. That's what confirms it right there.
Well, and as you know, the Watch, that is the center of all of this, was Lot 268. And who was the villain in Avengers 268? Kang the Conqueror. Kang confirmed for this, so. But, I could see... I could definitely see Kate showing up in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, because Stature will be there. We might get our first version of Iron Lad, which is a younger Kang posing as a young Avenger for a while. So,
and plus, like I mentioned in her In Focus that I did the other day on Kate Bishop, they do Stature and her do battle with Kang.
Yes, they do. It's part of the Young Avengers.
But that's what we think is next. What do you guys think? Please add us at Twitter, leave a comment down below, and we will see you next time on Not Your Status Quo.